So one day we're gonna make a bunch of money from this, and we're gonna be partying. We're gonna be thinking that this is a new dawn, that things are gonna be different this time. And then we're going to have to sell. But it's not today. Hi there, this is Fabi from The Next Big Rush, and today I want to talk a little bit about what's going on with uranium. Now, you have probably seen me say something about uranium, and the first inkling of a real uranium bull that would probably have legs happened when I noticed that one of my videos, my first video on why I like uranium, was consistently my most viewed video. Now I thought, what is it about this video? Is it the camera angle? Is it the length of the video? Is it what I'm wearing? I don't know, you gotta think of all these strange things, and it turned out that the topic of uranium is actually gaining a lot of converts. I would be worried about this if the price of uranium and uranium related companies would have been on a growth path for the last few years, 2 to 3 years maybe, but the truth is that they're only starting to get a little bit of traction now. We're way closer to all-time lows for uranium than all-time highs. We're probably coming off a bottom from $18 and a few cents. So I want to talk about why this is happening right now. You know the story, you know that uranium is currently usually produced at a higher cost than what you can sell it for in the market. But the reality is that the big producers have been able to make some money, if not break even, at these low prices. The thing is, the big producers are saying no more. We're just not even going to produce the stuff because we don't think it's worth it. And that really changes the game. So let's take a quick look at the reasons why there's this uranium fever happening right now. Come with me. So let's start with the really old one. Uranium prices glow with decision by main producer Kazakhstan to trim output. Now you can see that this is from the 13th of February 2017, so this is pretty darn old news. And what happened is, in speaking to a few people at PDAC, this is the impression I got. Kazakhstan has been wanting to take Kazatomprom, which is their uranium producer, public. So they want to do an IPO, but the thing is, the prices just aren't right. They want the prices to look better. Obviously, they want to make more money, a lot of money involved in this deal. And so they were basically saber rattling way back in 2017, saying, we're going to cut production, and the world fell for it. Now, when you talk about Kazakhstan, you're talking about 40% of the world's uranium supply. So these guys are freaking big players. You talk about OPEC and how much power they have, being, you know, the guys that band together to decide supply of the oil market. Well, this is really just down to one country. This is just Kazakhstan, never mind Russia and a few other places that produce uranium that are probably on the same boat wanting the same things. So this happened, but then the extent to which they would actually cut production was in doubt, because at PDAC, like I said, one of the bigwigs at Kazatomprom was asked about the production cuts, and they gave a really wishy-washy answer, and the crowd understood that they were just doing this for show and they weren't actually going to trim output. Well, the thing is, news has come in that yes, they have started to trim output. It seems like they're down 6% this year, and this is due to continue, if not worsen, throughout the year. So supply destruction right there. Then we had Cameco to suspend production from McArthur River and Key Lake operations and reduce its dividend. This was also last year, but towards the end of the year. So McArthur River is a huge mine in Saskatchewan, and they have suspended production for 10 months. Now, we have yet to see whether they're going to suspend production, see where the prices go, and then put the mine back online.
that doesn't seem likely. I've heard people speculate that because of really high staffing costs, what they might do is they might suspend McArthur River for 10 months, then start up production again, and then suspend another mine and sort of take turns suspending different mines. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's definitely on the table. CGN expects more reactor approvals in the second half. So this is pretty recent, 13th of June 2018. And CGN is none other than the world's largest nuclear plant construction company. It's a Chinese company, and they're saying that business is very good and that they're planning to construct more and more reactors, growth, etc. Next, we have Uranium Participation Corp with a 23 million bought deal financing. So if you're not aware of this, Uranium Participation Corp is basically a public company that you can buy in the open market. And all they do is pretty much sit on a bunch of stocked uranium. So every time that these guys raise money, it's because they're going to take this money minus fees and some costs, and they're going to buy that much uranium into the market, or from the market, I should say. So that's another $23 million worth that is going to disappear. Thursday, 14th of June 2018, Rick Perry suspends policy of selling excess uranium. So it used to be that the Department of Energy would sell some excess uranium. And let's be honest, when government gets their hands into anything, what they do is they sell at whatever price. They don't care, they just want to get it off their books, just like what Japan is still doing. So Rick Perry, who is very pro-uranium, pro a bunch of stuff that you can invest in, has actually succeeded in saying, okay, no more. We're not going to add to the already depressed market of oversupply. We're gonna stop that. Next, we have Yellowcake heads for London listing to bet on uranium mispricing. What is this? Well, this is another version, a Brit version of Uranium Participation Corp that we've just mentioned. So basically, they're going to get 150 million to 200 million from investors, buy 8.1 million pounds of uranium, and just sit on it. They have a deal with the Kazakhs to purchase it. Interesting thing is that for some reason they thought it would be interesting to have an option to purchase a further $100 million worth of uranium each year from Kazatomprom for the next 9 years. Well, if these guys are proven right, that's pretty smart. Rosatom's holding company posts 2017 consolidated net income of $2 billion. So this is a Russian company, a Russian state-owned company, I should say, or state-controlled, whatever you want to call it. Like the Chinese, they're saying, yep, business is good, we're making money. I would personally say that Putin is the world's best nuclear salesman. That is what he is doing. He's going into all of these countries, doing deals so that the world is more and more nuclearized, and I think he's succeeding. MBO at Australian equities boutique with a uranium twist. What does this mean? Well, looking into this article here, Tribeca investment partner is putting a lot of money into uranium companies. There's no indication that this is going to go for just uranium sitting and hoarding, but this is what these guys are raising the money for and the idea that they're selling. Marketing material for the new fund obtained by Street Talk suggests the price of uranium could more than double over the next 5 years, which Tribeca reckons would see producers' share prices rise by more than 500%, and in some cases by as much as 1,000%. So Tribeca is a largish fund that is looking for their 10 baggers in uranium. We're not alone. And my favorite one, the one I'm really putting my chips in for 2018, Energy Fuels and Your Energy jointly file Section 232 petition with U.S. Commerce Department to investigate effects of uranium imports on U.S. national security. So instead of going through all this, which you're more than welcome to do, by the way, and I would recommend you to do it, let me just tell you what these two producers are doing. They're knocking on Trump's door, Rick Perry's door and say, hey guys, have you noticed that about 5% of uranium that's used for American nuclear plants come from the US and the rest comes from all these foreign countries, including Russia, including Canada, including Kazakhstan? I don't think that's very safe. And you know, this story just bodes so well with the whole Trump way of governing. These guys just picked the right person at the right time to put this petition through and say, well, you know what? I don't think that's a safe bet. How about we implement a government mandate so that nuclear plants need to buy a certain amount of American-made or American-sourced uranium? And amongst a few other things, they want to up that 5% to 25%. Now, you can imagine if you're an Energy Fuels shareholder and all of a sudden the government is saying that with the stroke of a pen, your local market is going to go up several fold. Well, this is why I think it's so interesting to own a few US-based uranium companies right now, because if this 232 petition goes through, these guys are probably going to gain a lot of ground. These are two producers, but they're also development companies and also a few hybrid companies that have a few projects in the US and a few abroad. I'm putting my money into this. I think that this has a decent chance of going through, but at the end of the day, who knows? And a bonus pick, Katusa Research, the uranium bull market just reached an inflection point and has officially started. This is an interesting piece. Obviously, Katusa Research is by Marin Katusa. He does recommend a couple of uranium companies. I think there's a third one that's going to be talked about, but I can't really comment on that. It's a good piece, but I'd like to give a little bit of a highlight to this. In less than 2 weeks, the spot price for uranium moved from 22 bucks a pound up to 23.50 cents per pound. That's a rise of 6.8%. This may not sound like a lot, but it certainly is when you understand the context of the rise in price. What drove the price increase? A single buyer, this is quite something. A single buyer came in and bought 600,000 pounds of uranium, which represents less than $14 million worth of buying. This purchaser bought less than 0.5% of annual demand and pushed the price up almost 7%. And this is why there are so many uranium bugs. Things are starting to converge, I would say. It's a lot of different pieces of news that are starting to make uranium a very good bet, a very good possibility at the very least.
Okay, so we've been wrong about uranium for a very long time. Are we right this time? I don't know. All I know is I'm placing my bets on the American uranium market right now. If petition 232 pans out, then I'm probably going to have quick profits from that, which I might then reinvest in other projects such as companies in the Athabasca Basin. I do hold a few there, but I think that within the next 6 to 9 months, we have to look at the US for a short-term pop. Other wiser people with a lot more money than me are simply buying the best deposit in the world, which when we're talking about undeveloped projects is next gen. It's almost a set it and forget it or buy it and forget it kind of stock, but I don't see anything happening in the short term that all of a sudden is gonna make the deposit worth multiples of the almost $1 billion the company is worth right now. Great stock though, I can't argue against it if you wanna just put all your money in next gen, although I wouldn't recommend putting all of your money into one company ever, no matter what it is. It's an excellent project with excellent people at the helm, and it's probably going to get bought out at much higher prices than what you can buy for today. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a speculator. I'm just a retail investor. So please do your own due diligence. But for the people who aren't yet invested in uranium, I just wanted to give a brief background on why this is happening and why people are so excited about this. Obviously, there's a lot more to be said. Things are happening very fast. Every single month, there's a piece of news out, or so it feels like it, that can really change the game for uranium. Now be ready, because a lot of these companies are gonna pop out of the blue. Companies that used to be crypto companies, companies that used to be cannabis companies, companies that used to be gold companies, they're going to flood the market eventually with uranium if this is really the beginning of a bull market. I don't know, I'm super excited for this. I've never actually experienced a uranium bull market, but from what the data says, when it's a real bull market, it's really violent. And for now, it's just a matter of being patient, investing, watching your investments very closely, and looking to see if Trump and his guys can maybe help us out. I don't know, maybe all the people who hate Trump might actually make money from him. Alright, thank you very much. If you liked this video, hit like and subscribe, because there's a lot more coming your way, whether it's uranium or other making money stuff. Take care.